this is what the house looks like? No. On April 2nd, 2023, a 21-year-old prankster named Tanner Cook was filming at Dallas Town Center for his channel. Everything was going well until he crossed the line and it ended in a shooting. Here are some YouTubers who lost their lives while filming. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Audio. Pedro Ruiz III. On June 26, 2017, Pedro Ruiz, together with his longtime girlfriend, planned a video that he called the most dangerous video ever. Pedro's idea was for his girlfriend to shoot him at close range while his only protection was a thick book. He was hoping it would go viral on his channel, damn it boy. But his excessive desire for fame became the cause of his death. He was shot by his own girlfriend in their failed attempt. Pedro was born on April 21, 1996, into a poor family. He grew up amid chaos, full of hardships and challenges. It was as if fate smiled upon him when he met Mona Lisa Perez, who also had her own YouTube channel where she shared her daily life. When Mona Lisa got pregnant, Pedro also started his own channel, and they created content together as a couple. Pedro described himself as a bit unusual and an adrenaline junkie. That feeling like you're close to death. On the very day of his death, while recording the video, it seemed like Pedro had already predicted what would happen. His plan was for Mona Lisa to shoot him in the chest at close range, with his only protection being a very thick book. It was an experiment that he claimed to have tried before. He was confident that it would work as long as the bullet hit the book. But Mona Lisa was against it at first. They argued about it for a long time, and it even took a month before she finally agreed. Before doing the stunt, Mona Lisa even posted on Twitter that Pedro was the mastermind behind this crazy idea. It was also her way of clearing her name. On June 26, 2017, they carried out the plan using a .50 caliber Desert Eagle and an encyclopedia. Pedro was holding the book to his chest. As he was preparing, Pedro felt confident. He was sure that the bullet wouldn't go through the book. The only thing on his mind was that Mona Lisa shouldn't miss her shot. Their child and almost 30 other people watched. But in an instant, everything turned into a tragedy. The bullet went through the book and went straight into Pedro's chest. Mona Lisa immediately called 911 when she realized what had happened, but it was too late. Pedro died while being taken to the hospital. In March 2018, she pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter. She was imprisoned for 6 months, banned from owning a weapon for life, and was also not allowed to profit from this case. 10 months later, YouTube implemented a ban on dangerous prank videos. The actual video of the incident is now considered lost media. This incident showed just how reckless, tragic, and honestly extreme this stunt was and how far people are willing to go just for fame. Albert Dierlund. On July 28, 2021, what was supposed to be one of the best experiences in life ended in tragedy. The Danish YouTuber Albert Dierlund fell from over 600 feet, a fall that took his life. Born on September 15, 1998 in Denmark, Albert grew up in a humble family. Even as a child, he dreamed of traveling the world, seeing different places, experiencing various cultures, and meeting different people. He has a natural talent for entertainment and creativity. In February 2016, at the age of 18, he started to gain popularity on YouTube through his comedic sketches and music videos. But he truly became known in 2018 when he launched his comedy series called Albert. It's a story about trying to earn a living as a YouTuber. Because of this, he won the Blockbuster Audience Award at the Danish Film Awards in 2019. It didn't take long for his audience to grow. He now has over 224,000 followers on Instagram and 170,000 subscribers on YouTube. Many of his videos reached millions of views, and each piece of content was watched by millions. He even released songs like Emoji, Hola, and Summer, which instantly became hits. At the age of 22, it seemed like he was at the peak of his success until tragedy struck. In the summer of 2021, Albert went with his friends to a mountain in the Italian Alps. It wasn't just a simple vacation. He wanted to show his viewers the beauty of the scenery from the summit. As he climbed, he kept recording. It was as if he was taking his audience with him every step of the way. But in an instant, he slipped and fell more than 650 feet. His friends immediately called emergency services, but because of the difficult terrain, they had a hard time pinpointing his exact location. When the rescue helicopter found him, it was already too late. He was declared dead at the scene. When the news spread, sadness poured in from his fans and friends. And the authorities issued a warning not to risk your life for content because sometimes you can't get it back. Grant Thompson. On July 30, 2019, after a long search, Grant Thompson's body was found along with his recording device. According to the report, he died in a paragliding accident, an activity that seemed fun and exciting but ended in tragedy. He was born in November 1976 in California. Grant had the opportunity to grow up in a family that valued creativity and innovation. He chose to pursue the path of engineering and eventually trained as a pilot. After 11 years as an airline pilot, he tried real estate and became semi-retired in 2010. This is where his real rise to fame began. He founded his YouTube channel, The King of Random, which reached over 11 million subscribers and billions of views. His channel is full of various content, life hacks, experiments, cool stunts, and all sorts of random projects. From liquid nitrogen experiments to woodworking, he did almost everything. But on July 29, 2019, tragedy struck. The Washington County Sheriff's Office in Utah received an emergency call from Grant's family, a paraglider who hadn't returned yet. According to them, he should have landed an hour ago, but they could no longer contact him. A large-scale search operation immediately began. With the help of the GPS signal from his cell phone, rescuers were able to determine the possible location. When the helicopter reached the area, they found Grant's body, and unfortunately, he was declared dead after the crash. His paragliding equipment and the recording device were also recovered from the area. The authorities examined the footage to determine the cause of the accident, but it was not released to the public for obvious reasons. According to investigations, Grant Thompson encountered a strong updraft while paragliding, a sudden upward current of air that quickly also caused a loss of altitude. Within just a few seconds, he lost control. After the tragedy, his colleagues at the King of Random shared their deep sadness and shock. As a tribute, they established the Grant Thompson Memorial Outward Bound Scholarship, a way to continue his legacy. Timothy Wilkes. On February 4, 2021, Timothy and his friend went to an urban air trampoline park in a suburb of Nashville to film a prank video. A simple joke that ended in tragedy. Born in June 2000, Timothy was resilient, close to his family, and was raised by his grandmother, Shirley Berry. According to her, he never mentioned wanting to become famous on YouTube, but like many others, he followed the trend and chose pranks as his content. The problem is, the pranks he does aren't just ordinary pranks. He prefers extreme pranks, the really dangerous ones, just to get views. Even though it was already against YouTube's policies, he didn't stop. That day, they planned what they called a fake robbery prank. They would approach people, act like criminals, and scare them until they got angry or frightened, before telling them it was just a prank. At first, everything was going smoothly until they picked the wrong person. The men they approached were carrying a gun and a knife. When Timothy and his group approached, they immediately made noise and shouted, "Where's the money?" Only a few seconds passed. A man named David Starnes Jr. pulled out a weapon and struck Timothy in the head. He died right there, and his friend managed to escape. When the authorities arrived at the scene, Starnes insisted that what he did was self-defense. According to him, he didn't know that it was just a prank. In the background, Timothy's friend was just standing there continuing to film and was also not hurt. The police investigation continued, but in the end, no charges were filed against the person who attacked Timothy. An incident that taught a hard lesson that you can't control how other people will interpret a joke, especially if the situation is dangerous. And it's also a reminder to parents that it's important for them to know what their children are doing online and what kind of content they're getting into. Thor Eckhoff, Apetor. On November 27, 2021, he posted a video that would later become his last, titled, "I'm Not Dead. I'm 57 today." In that video, he can be seen doing a Daredevil walk and various stunts on the ice at Jacob's Dam in Corbu, Norway. He didn't know that every step he took there would lead him to tragedy. Apetor, or Thor Eckhoff in real life, was a YouTuber and factory worker from Norway. Born on November 22, 1964, he was known for his videos about travel, nature, and unique adventures in the cold regions of Norway. He loved sharing clips of wildlife, scenic views, road trips, and even his experiments walking on thin ice and swimming in freezing water. He was loved by more than 1.2 million subscribers because of his authenticity, humor, and fearlessness. On his birthday, he started as usual, running in the snow in his underwear, something his viewers were already used to. But he didn't stop there. He used a sledgehammer to break the ice on a lake and made his own ice pool just so he could swim. But there was a big problem. The edge of the hole he made didn't freeze again right away. As he tried to get out, the ice under him kept breaking over and over again while he was swimming. It couldn't support his weight, so the hole just kept getting bigger. And while this was happening, everything was being recorded. People around heard his scream and they immediately came to help him. He was taken to the hospital, but because he was in the cold water for a long time, he could no longer be saved. The next day, he passed away. Greg Plitt. In January 2015, Greg took on another adrenaline-filled project for his video, a shoot that would showcase his physical limits. But that day ended in a tragedy that no one expected. Born on November 3, 1977, Greg was an elite athlete who loved football, wrestling, and golf. Even as a child, his competitive spirit was already obvious. Because of his strength and fearless attitude, his friends called him Superman. He became even more popular through social media. He has a YouTube channel that reached over 175,000 subscribers where he shares training, motivation, and life lessons. He also appeared in several TV shows and movies such as Days of Our Lives, Mystery Millionaire, and The Good Shepherd, alongside Hollywood stars like Robert De Niro and Christian Bale. Greg is a powerhouse, military officer, athlete, model, actor, and influencer. But despite all these successes, there came a moment that would end it all. While he was filming a self-produced energy drink commercial on the train tracks, he was busy trying to get the perfect shot. He didn't notice the oncoming train, and its loud horn was the last warning he would ever hear. In the end, Greg decided to try to outrun the train to get the perfect shot. Even though he knew it was dangerous, he pushed himself to match the speed of the oncoming train. But no matter how strong his body and determination were, he couldn't catch up. In an instant, he was struck by the southbound Metrolink commuter train and died immediately. The entire incident was even captured by the onboard camera inside the train. According to the police investigation, Greg may have thought that the train was on the adjacent track, not the very track he was running on. In the last moments, he may have even tried to run to avoid it. But it was too late. He lost control and disappeared from the frame. The authorities have ruled out the possibility that this was a suicide. Instead, they considered it a tragedy that happened while filming in a restricted area without a permit. Many witnesses said they heard the loud horn of the train while Greg was still standing on the tracks. When the news spread, his family and fans mourned. A life full of strength, discipline, and inspiration that was suddenly cut short in an instant. Jacob Cockle.
Jacob was sucked into the current and drowned at the depths of the fierce tides and unforgiving waters.
In May 2013, an English daredevil decided to try something unusual, diving into a powerful whirlpool. For other people, this would mean death. But for Jacob, it was just another ordinary challenge. Born on March 2, 1985 in Penzance, Cornwall, England, Jacob is the youngest of 4 siblings. He grew up near the sea with white sands and waves that became a part of his childhood. At the age of 10, he was diagnosed with dyslexia, which made studying difficult for him. As he grew older, he preferred spending time by the seaside with his friends rather than being in the classroom. That's where he learned to swim well, and that's also where his love for extreme water adventures began. Eventually, he started making YouTube videos showcasing his underwater stunts and surfing clips, which reached millions of views. For him, water is his world. In May 2013, he went to Carew Pool at the estuary of the River Hale in Cornwall. He was with his friend David Rain, who was 70 years old. There was a warning in the area, do not swim. But he was undeterred. He was confident in his abilities as a swimmer, especially since he used to give tips online on how to deal with strong waves. But on that day, no amount of knowledge was enough. Wearing a horse mask as part of his comedic style, Jacob jumped into the whirlpool to record it from the inside. In the first second, he was immediately pulled by the strong current and pushed out. But despite the danger, he was still laughing. It was all just like a game. He slowly moved closer to the center of the whirlpool until he dove again and was completely swallowed by the strong current under the water. Fortunately, he made it out on the other end of the whirlpool where his friend immediately pulled him out while someone called for emergency help. He was brought to the Royal Cornwall Hospital, but despite all the doctor's efforts, Jacob Cockle passed away. People have different views about what happened to him. According to some fellow divers, his courage came from his wetsuit. He thought it could withstand the strength of the current. But on that day, no equipment was enough. James Stobie. On February 15, 2012, James came up with an idea that would later give him a small but loyal audience. He created a YouTube channel called Stub the Hobo, which reached almost 11,000 subscribers. People followed his journeys as he rode trains across different parts of the United States. When the train didn't arrive at the time he wanted, he would become restless. He seems too eager for the next adventure. Born on June 12, 1980 in the United States, James grew up adventurous and fond of traveling. Because of financial struggles that eventually led to him becoming homeless, he was forced to adapt to the life of train hopping, a dangerous way of traveling while he documented it for his channel. Despite this, many remember him as a person with a unique charm. He loved to make people laugh, had a sharp sense of humor, and a deep love for freedom. He was also talented at the piano and had a personality viewers couldn't easily forget. But in November 2017, while he was filming yet another train-hopping scene, tragedy struck. According to reports, his bag got caught on an Amtrak train, causing him to be dragged along. There are also other reports saying that he may have fallen from a bridge while clinging to the train. This happened in the Baltimore area, and authorities later recovered his body. This incident once again highlighted the extreme danger of trespassing on railway property, something that is often underestimated by the public, especially by content creators. At the age of 33, James passed away on November 9, 2017. Tanner Cook. This is the 1000th stop. Stop! Manila. April 2nd, 2023, the 21-year-old prankster Tanner Cook is boiling, who already knows this because he's nervous. Under the care of his single mother, and according to reports, he experienced depression and anxiety while growing up with a complicated relationship with his father. He started his YouTube journey in 2021. At first, his channel grew slowly, but eventually he found a formula that caught the attention of viewers. His channel, Classified Goons, reached over 60,000 subscribers. His content is mostly extreme pranks, from scaring people to awkward social experiments. Because of this, he has experienced several encounters with the police and has even been kicked out of some establishments. According to reports, he earns several $1,000s a month, and for him, it's worth it despite public complaints. But not everyone is happy with what he's doing. There have been incidents where some of the unintended victims of his pranks were traumatized. On one occasion, he scared a woman at Target with a fake stalking prank that caused intense fear and anger. On the day of the incident, Tanner and his friend were doing a prank where they would approach people using a translator app, pretending to be foreigners saying strange things. They approached a DoorDash driver named Alan Coley, 31 years old, while he was picking up an order in Leesburg, Virginia. Because of the recent reports of crimes against delivery drivers, Alan immediately became scared. According to him, the two looked aggressive and had cold expressions as they brought their phone close to his face. In just a few seconds, the situation escalated. The translator audio on the phone kept repeating as Tanner and his friend approached. While this was happening, Alan Coley started to back away and repeatedly told them to stop at least 3 times. But the two still kept approaching, bringing the phone closer to his face until it was almost touching him. In his final attempt to get away from the situation, Alan tried to push the phone away from their hand. But in just about 20 seconds from the beginning to the end of the incident, a gunshot shattered everything. Alan attacked Tanner in the stomach at close range. 911 was immediately called and the police arrived at the scene. Alan was immediately arrested while Tanner was found injured outside the mall due to the gunshot wound. He was immediately rushed to the hospital and placed in the ICU. In the case filed against Alan Coley, he was charged with aggravated malicious wounding and illegal discharge of a firearm inside a building. But later, the jury decided that he was not guilty of the main charge due to evidence showing that what he did was self-defense. However, he was still found guilty of discharging a firearm inside a building. After several months of legal proceedings, he was released in December 2023. Meanwhile, Tanner Cook continues to make prank videos even after the incident. On September 2, 2023, he even appeared in a video by classified goons titled "Detained at the Airport," which once again received strong negative reactions from the public.